Hi there, Trace. This is Brad Gilbert with the FX Market Insight for Thursday, the 10th of September. Right now, as we kick off the Asian session, the bit of a quick recap. The North American session closing with a pretty strong risk-on appetite, right? So this should see Aussie, Kiwi, and the CAD sort of rally, dollar fall across the board. Now that's the sort of general risk-on, risk-off setup, and it applies big time to what's just happened in the market. Okay, so you've got that set up now. If I just switch it back to say the dollar page here, just having a look at what's going on there, you can see the dollar index. Okay, pops above sort of 93.40 odd, gets up to about 60, and then starts to fall. Now, what you're trying to do is with this, I know there's a risk on sort of appetite on the equity markets. You're trying to work out why did that actually fall? Is it just the equities, or is it something else? And what it looks like it was, if I just give you a quick look at the news, okay, we know the ECB is coming out today. They got their meeting, and it's the move in euro, which, euro is 58% of the dollar index basket. Euro popped, well, not quite 100 points, about 80 points. It was put down to a central bank official, right, have become more, or a report saying that they've become more confident with their outlook for the region's recovery, which sounds like yeah, great guys, that's really good, but nothing's happening, if you know what I mean. So it's just a report, and that's what, buy the rumors, sell the fact. That's what we're sort of doing these days, or since day dot. So you look at euro, what happened here? Well, we had this sort of nice sort of downtrend happening. It sort of blasted through 117.80. What this would have done is taken out some of the short-term stop-loss levels that were put on during the week. Notice it hasn't gone that far, right? It's enough to take out all the stop-loss orders here. Tops out at just above 118.30 and now settles down around 118, the figure 118.10. I expect it to sort of probably hang around these levels until it's confirmed that the ECB, that this is actually the fact that what they're doing. Now, don't forget, Christine Lagarde came back months ago saying basically, okay, let's have a look at what we're doing because nothing seems to be working. So I don't know how they can be really confident about the region's recovery if nothing's changed, right? It's the still same dire process. So for me, there's a potential chance here that this is just not necessarily a hoax, but a bit of a misleading sort of a report, and we could see the euro sort of lower. If they do come out and sound really upbeat, it will give the market an immediate positive euro vibe as such, but that won't be lasting, right? There's only so much you can get out of a central bank going, yeah, everything's great, everything's really good, when in actual fact, everything isn't good. The data is actually extremely weak. So just be aware, the recent move, it's almost like, to me, it would have been, and you see this a lot on the news services, where they report basically, profit taking. This is almost a profit taking before the ECB. I mean, it's a reasonably big event, and you get that, say, report coming out on taking the euro higher. Okay, the ECB positive report that fits in nicely with also the risk on appetite in the US equity markets. Once again, pushing the Aussie and Kiwi pretty much back to where I was suggesting the sell levels were yesterday, right? This is sort of retracing back to those levels. What do I think from here? Well, it's with the ECB coming out and this sort of so-called report and these sort of things, it's hard to sort of read what's going on, okay? We've had this sort of, bit of dollar strength come into the market. It's been stalled on some basic report. Now we need the ECB to confirm that or not. Now we're potentially going to get the next real move after the ECB announcement today. Now, sterling is the one pair that, still drifting lower. Okay, probably still a good chance to sell on rallies. These other pairs at the top here, okay, in particular, they say the Aussie, Kiwi, and Euro. You know what? With all the short-term noise in the hourly trend lines, what I'm looking for is probably focusing more on the daily trend lines, right? Like, for levels potentially just to get in. Now, the no-brainer trade is the break trade. I don't necessarily need to know what causes the break, but if it does break down through a daily trend line, you usually see a really good clean out. So to me, I'm going back to that default setup, and it's the same here on the Aussie. Okay, and you're going to have the same setup here on the Kiwi as well. And basically the same for the dollar index and dollar Swiss. Okay, you've got these longer term trend lines. They have just, some of them have just tweaked through, but they are a better confirmation, a better thing to be looking at than the hourly charts, because as you've probably seen over the last sort of week or so, we get a bit of a move on the dollar. It's a bit of a false start. It stalls. This time it's stalled around the ECB meeting, which makes sense. So with the market direction, we are getting a lot of the moves, as you can see here, sideways moves on a lot of pairs. To me, it's just like, okay, I know what's sort of going on here. There's a bit of convoluted price action, but I tell you what, if what the ECB do creates either the euro to go up or down, we will have opportunities. So to me, focusing on those longer term daily trend lines is the way to go. And we've got opportunities across the board here on those pairs. That's the no-brainer trade. And that we've got to see how that plays out. The rest of the trades, well, you know what? We're just going to wait. And this is one of those situations. Once again, the geopolitical environment does throw us curveballs. You've obviously got a bit of news out there about the Donald, accusations apparently that he knew the virus was worse than expected, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it's all like poppycock to me. I'm looking for real sort of, real data, real information. All we continually get is the US-China feud. You're getting the occasional coronavirus update. But the real focus has got to be the ECB meeting, right? That's where the next big move is. Euro has been trading very orderly. It's got trend lines to focus on. That's the pair, Euro crosses. Keep focusing on those. All right, guys, have a good one. Cheerio.